What the band you used in middle school as emotional support instead of going to therapy says about you. If it was MCR, then you definitely still listen to them, and you definitely look like you still listen to them in the best way possible. If it was all-time low, then you have unnaturally colored hair now, you probably stan water parks, and you have the humor of a 12-year-old boy. If it was Fall Out Boy, you're probably really chilled out by now, you probably don't dress like you're an emo, but every time Infinity on High comes on, you go off. If it was Panic at the Disco, then you either still like their new stuff and you kind of scare me, or you run a Brendan Urie hate account. There's no middle ground. If it was 21 Pilots, you good now? Because I know I wasn't listening to Regional at Best on my iPod Shuffle in the school bathroom because I was, okay. What the band you used as emotional support in middle school says about you, part 2. If it was Pierce the Veil, then you constantly talk about how much you miss Warped Tour, and you probably used to make people listen to King for a Day to show off your edgy music. If it was Sleeping with Sirens, then your go-to middle school accessory was 50 rubber bracelets, and you secretly wish that it was still acceptable to dress like a scene kid in 2020. If it was Black Veil Brides, then you're probably really good at makeup now, you still only wear black, and people are intimidated by you, but you're actually the nicest person ever. If it was Paramore, you're definitely the most fun person to be around, and you're probably the life of the party. If it was Falling in Reverse, you never mentally or emotionally ever left 2012, and you probably do or want to own a reptile. If it was Blink-182 and you're a guy, then your energy vaguely threatens me, but if you're anybody else, you're definitely the coolest person in your friend group and you skate.
This is my theory on every type of student, based on how much effort you put in and how intelligent you are. Everyone you know should fall into one of these 9 categories. Up first, we have the largest group, the average students, who put in a normal amount of effort and have average intelligence. You probably think you're a little bit better at school than you actually are, but it's okay because you fly under the radar and your high school experience is very normal. If you put in the same amount of effort but you're a genius, I call you a wizard. You're probably doing amazing in school without really trying, and everyone resents you for it, but they still try to use your homework to copy off of. The dumb but diligent I call tryhards. These are the people who complain the most about how hard their classes are, how much work they have to do, but then you find out it's actually not that much, and they hate anyone who does better than them without really trying. And every school has a 1 or 2 wasted potentials who are so lazy they turn in just enough homework to pass and use their genius abilities for other sketchy things like selling drugs. And probably the most annoying category, if you have an average intelligence but you work super hard, you're a model student. In my experience, these people have the most annoying personalities, kind of give off teacher pet vibes, but the teacher loves you because they want everyone to be like you. Come back tomorrow for part 2. This is part 2 of my theory on the 9 types of students based on how much effort you put in and how intelligent you are. The category of people I feel the worst for are dumb with normal effort. I mean, like, no one's making a Netflix original about your high school experience, and teachers are probably going to overlook you for people who are working harder or are smarter, but you guys probably have the best personalities, so there you go. I only feel a little bad for the lost causes because teachers are probably super mean to you guys, but also you're probably pretty disrespectful back. You use way too much self-deprecating humor, but hopefully there's something outside of school that you're good at, so it's all okay. The average but lazy, apathetic student just doesn't care about school. You probably have plans for your life that don't involve education. You're only going to go to college if your parents make you, but teachers are a little nicer to you because they really want to see you move up. And finally, we have the diligent geniuses I call superheroes because, like superheroes, we're not 100% sure if they actually exist. There are no more than 1 or 2 of these at your school. They're the people that everyone knows are like going to be the CEOs or rulers of the world one day. So, which one are you in? This is my wheel of majors. You can use it to figure out what you should major in if you're in the right major and what classes to take. To start off, choose between these 5 categories of study: people, science, numbers, words, or government. So if you just want straight science, go chemistry. But if you want to study science and people, you can do biology or health science. See how it works? Same thing if you want science and numbers, but you can do physics and engineering. If all you want to study is numbers, obviously just do math. But if you want to throw in a little science, computer science. But if you also want to study words, you can do accounting or business. If you just want to study words, I'd go with communication, pretty general. If you want some math, you can add marketing. But if you want to know more about people/government, you can do English or history. If you want to study government, that's just government. If you want to study government with a lot of words, that's law. But if you want to study government and people, political science or international relations. If all you want to study is people, you should do sociology. But if you want it to be more about government/words, you should do anthropology. And finally, people with some science is psychology. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing, but now that you know how it works, in my next video I'll explain different ways you can actually use this chart.
Terrifyingly powerful websites, part 1. Open up an incognito tab and you're going to want to go to thatsthem.com. This is a website that allows you to search for people using literally anything that you know about them. If all you have is their name, you can put that in. You can also put their zip code in. If you have their email address, you can use their email address. If you just have their IP address, you can use their IP address. Basically what it's doing under the hood is searching a bunch of places on the internet where it knows that people are likely to disclose their address or their IP address or their whatever without knowing it. Searches a bunch of those, compiles them, and gives you the results. This is super problematic because literally if you email me or give me your phone number, I can suddenly know your IP address, your home address, your mom's home address. A lot of people don't know that they're putting this much information about themselves out there on the internet for anyone for free, so be careful. Use this as a tool to keep yourselves and others safe. Part 2 is coming soon. Terrifyingly powerful websites, part 2. This isn't really a website, this is Google dorking. It's Google. When you enter your search queries with this certain syntax type that I'm going to show you, it's called Google dorking. Google is great, it's a super powerful engine, but it has so much information, and sometimes it has information that it is not supposed to have that people have given it by accident, and if you know what to look for, you can find it, which is probably bad. Let's start for a search for log files that contain username strings. Why? Because they usually contain passwords too. To start, you're going to type all in text username, and the file type we want is log. Oh no. Oh my god. Do you see why this is terrifying? I hate how easy that was. I'm using Google! Great, let's make it worse. Actually, I'm almost out of time, so let's make it worse in part 3. Terrifyingly powerful websites, part 3. You guys, I feel dirty. So a lot of times when people buy a webcam, they just put it on the internet on a channel that you can actually access because they don't protect it with a passcode or anything, which is actually really bad for them. But when it's on the internet, there's a certain model that has a certain string in its identifier, and you can search for that by searching in title, in quotes, webcam XP5. This is just for this model. And a really discouraging number of things come up. Great. All of these are webcams that are just open to the internet. Oh, there's literally people moving around. The owners of these webcams may or may not know that I can see everything that they are doing, but as you can see, it also gives me their IP address, so I could literally just go on Shodan and look it up if I wanted to know more about them. My point with all of this is that there is a lot of stuff on the internet about all of us that we don't necessarily know that we've given away. Any internet-connected device is vulnerable. There's no privacy anymore. Protect your data. Welcome back to Terrifyingly Powerful Websites. This is part 4. Today, we're going to talk about Shodan. If you liked Google dorking, Shodan is about to blow your mind. Shodan, as you can see here, is a search engine for the Internet of Things. What that means is it uses a port scanner to index different IP addresses and ports so that you can search them by word or phrase. And I do mean any internet-facing device. Your printer, your webcam, your nav system on your boat could potentially all be listed on Shodan. What makes Shodan so powerful is you don't have to know any specific phrasing to do the searches for these devices, so you could literally just type webcam and you will get results. Verbose results, I might add. A good idea might be to use it as a tool to investigate your own security by looking up your own device or the manufacturers of your devices to see if they have any known vulnerabilities listed. You can literally also follow the Shodan Twitter, because they'll often tweet known vulnerabilities. Also, if you don't want to go to the webpage, you can make an account and get a command line interface. Type pip install Shodan. Then you can do things like that.
This might just look like a scrunchy stack of paper, but I assure you it's much more. You see, if I take my hand and rotate the coil clockwise, I get these black cubes. But if I take my hand and rotate counterclockwise, I get these pink cubes. Now I can go back and forth between pink cubes and black cubes and pink cubes and black cubes, or maybe both cubes at the same time. But let's say that's just too many cubes for me. I can just say goodbye to them altogether. But perhaps the questions we should be asking aren't necessarily how many cubes are too many. Perhaps the questions we should be asking are, how can you make a cool contraption like this using materials you probably already have in your house? You're going to start up with a square sheet of paper. You'll need several. Now I'm using Post-it notes, but the problem with these is that they're not always exactly square. So if you fold it in half and you notice that there's a little sliver left over, make sure you trim it so it's a perfect square. Go check out part 2. Part 2. Now since I'm using a sticky note, I colored the sticky side for reference. Start by pre-creasing diagonally both ways. Rotate and bring this outer corner to that intersection, and crease. Repeat on the other side. And next we're going to bring these outer corners to the center. Go ahead and crease, and repeat on the other side. Now if you did it right, you should have created a little square here, and these two folds will intersect at a little point there. We're going to use this as a reference point for the next fold. Bring this point to that reference that we just made, and crease. Open that up, and we're going to repeat that on the other side. Again, folding to that reference point. You should have something that looks a little bit like this. Fold this part down. We're going to connect these 2 points and bring this edge to this edge, like so. Do the same to the other side, but we're going to fold it the opposite direction. Go check out part 3. Part 3. Now I actually have two different types of cube spirals. So in this one right here, all the pieces are made the same way, and each cube is made up of 2 modules, and then those cubes are glued together, so I have 5 here. And you can only twist it one way. Now this one's a little bit different just because each cube is a mirror of its surrounding cubes. You'll notice how all the folds are zigzagging, whereas on this one they're all parallel. And that's how you get that cool color changing effect. Also for this one, each cube is made of the same color. But let's go ahead and make our first cube. You're going to make a crease at these little triangles here, and these are going to be your gluing flaps. You're going to need 2 modules to make a square. Very, very important, make sure the pieces for each square are exactly identical and that all of the folds are facing the same way. If you're making this model, you're going to want 2 different colors for a single cube. And if you're making this one, go ahead and make them the same color. Go check out part 4. Part 4.
Next, you're going to want to undo one of the pieces and turn it over. Notice the orientation of the pieces as I place this one over the other piece. You're going to put a little bit of glue on each of these flaps and fold them over to glue in place. Really make sure that you glue these corners really well, otherwise this starts to happen. So I'm gluing those into place. If you turn that over, you'll notice that you've already got half of the cube working for you. This part's a bit tricky, but you're going to lift this flap here and tuck. Do that on the other side too. Lift and tuck. And you guessed it, we're going to glue these in place. And now you've got a single functioning cube. If you want to make one of these, just go ahead and make a bunch of these cubes, and you're going to glue these flap sides together like this, and you'll have a cube spiral. But let's say you want to make this guy.
Go check out the last part. Part 5.
Now to make this guy, you're going to go ahead and make 3 of these cubes. But you also want to create 3 mirror cubes. And as you can see, this one doesn't look like those. Now to make a mirror piece, you're going to make a module up to this stage. Remember how we folded down and folded this way? Well, we're actually going to fold the other way. And you're going to go ahead and do this on the other side too. Make another piece just like it and fold in those corners. And go ahead and glue like normal. And once that's glued, turn it over and again bring those little edges underneath like so and glue these in place. And now you've got opposite cubes. Go ahead and glue these together. Now keep going until you've reached a satisfactory amount of paper cubes.
And you've got yourself a spiral cube. As always, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to share if you made it.
5 types of people at Australian high schools. Is the math test today? I thought it was next week. Oh my god, I haven't even studied. Can I look at your notes, please? I believe that the author is using symbolism to foreshadow the future events within the book, and it's actually a metaphor for the society which they live in. I'm so sorry, sir, but I can't do PE today. I pulled my thigh. Yeah, but I have a note from my therapist. That's not my handwriting, no. Do you have 20 cents? I want to buy a Calippo and I only have $1. Any change? No, so Ella messaged Vanessa being like, why did you hug my boyfriend? And Vanessa was like, I didn't hug your boyfriend. Where are you getting this from? And apparently Ella went off at her and called her a snake and everything. I know. 5 types of people at Australian high schools, part 2. Can somebody please come to the canteen with me? Are you serious? I came with you last time. I'll buy you a Calippo. I can't hang out at lunch. I have debating. Hi, I am the second speaker, and you have been grossly misled by the affirmative team. Yeah, I'll probably make the Olympics. Or maybe an AFL team, I don't know. Depends how I'm feeling. Did I make the school team? Obviously. Yeah, hi everyone. Can I just get a bit of hush? Thanks. I'm just wondering why we haven't filled out all the events for the swimming carnival. We need to fill out freestyle and butterfly. Jackson and Ashley, I'll put you guys both down. You haven't volunteered for anything. Thank you. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, miss. We'll be quiet. Stop. We're being so random. Really? Oh my god! Sorry, miss.
What your favourite VCE subject reveals about you. You're the type of person that takes the pictures of their folders and uploads it on Snapchat with the caption, oh my god, I'm so organised. And you're also that mate that doesn't let their friend borrow their pen because they lost the one you gave them in 2013. You're the type of person that offers diet tips to everyone, but not a single soul cares. Like if I wanted to eat watery flavourless carrot sticks and be miserable for lunch, I would, Dylan. You have patience. The fact that you can spend a whole week painting 3 different coloured lines is beyond me. You're a different breed of human. How can you solve rocket science formulas but can't go more than 4 seconds in conversation without fainting from nervousness? You're that kid that will come to class to have a laugh with the boys, but then file a complaint against the teacher because she didn't teach you everything on the sack, even though you spent the whole lesson playing sex noises from your phone. What your favorite VCE subject reveals about you, part 2. Overthinking is your biggest personality trait. Just because the wall is painted blue, it doesn't mean the person is miserable, lonely, and bound by societal norms. Chill. You are an introvert that doesn't connect with other people. So that explains why you're sitting there studying the structure of a leaf. You watched way too much MasterChef as a kid, and you began to think you're Gordon Ramsay. You need to stop treating every food tech lesson as if you're presenting a dish to a 5-star restaurant. Let's be real. You think you're really good at reading people and their hidden intentions. Relax, Tiffany. You know the definition of the halo effect and now you're getting ahead of yourself. You are so invested in your studies that your brain accidentally forgot to form a personality in the process. Your brain can only hold all the elements of the periodic table, so you don't have the capacity to form a friendship. What your favorite VCE subject reveals about you, part 3. And I'm low-key running out of subjects, so no more. You need to accept the fact that the past is gone. You're the type of person to reminisce on the McDonald's worker giving you a free sauce back in 2011. You need to stop thinking that you created money. We get it. You know everything about money and you're going to be rich in the future. Stop telling us every 10 seconds. Being unorganized is your full-time career. Half of the world's trees could be restored if we got back all your loose papers that are thrown in your folder. You are low-key so sensitive and dramatic that it's borderline a medical condition. You're the type of person to have a sook if someone stares at you the wrong way in the corridor. You need to relax. It's not that deep. Fuck. Please put your shoes back on your feet. Like, we get it. You're connected to nature, but you need to relax a bit because it's a bit how you're going.